Wrong book. The selfish gene. We'll be just doing a 5 minute to 10 minute summary. Probably going to be 10 minutes because I have so much to talk about. Then probably we might get to a 20-minute video. Let's just forget all about that and let's get started! Alright, chapter 1, evolution. Why are people? Now for chapter 1, we have lots of things to really talk about. Why are people here anyway? Well, there's a lot to be talking about here. An evolution, determination of modern human behavior, subjectives, and apparently altruistic behaviors seem to be going on all around the community for all of eternity, as you can see. This is the selfish gene concept, where there are a lot of things to really talk about. And the selfish gene, it's just implying that simply we are survival machines. We are just machines built by these selfish genes just to survive and to get them to the next generation. Like, copy, escape pod, boop, 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 throw away, go to another escape pod and go create your own gene. Escape pod merged. Yay! Woo! New genes in the next generation with an almost exact identical copy of the gene inside you. Yay! And there's so many things to actually really talk about. There are other ways to actually cooperate, simplicity, and there's also Darwin's survival of the fittest theory, and that's also pretty in here. Selection of the most stable objects seem to be working here, because if this place was unstable, we would definitely not be here. However, and there was also the rejection of the unstable objects, which would definitely kind of become a mad thing. Replicators, genes have been going on everywhere, and I'm just talking about chapter 2 right now. As in chapter 2, I just discussed a lot about chapter 2. We talk about replicators, the very first replicator gene in the whole wide world, which landed in its own little primordial soup, and it eventually turned into life as we know it. After using up all of the primordial soup resources, they finally was able, but it was enough to actually create multicellular organisms and to be able to do lots and lots of other things. For chapter 3, let's talk about immortal coils. Immortal coils are actually basically talking about the immortal DNA. ATCG creates these genes, adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. This is what creates the genes. And the thing is, survival machines are very complex, and we each have 23 pairs of chromosomes, one from your dad, one from your mom, and eventually get 46 chromosomes, and that's pretty important to be talking about right now. So that's a very big loop. And one more thing here, it's like an evolutionary point of view here we're talking about in the gene's eye view right now. Now for chapter 5, the aggression of the stability and the selfishness. Aggression, however, now aggression have lots of things, and Homo sapiens aren't the only ones who are aggressive to their own species. The pugnacity and the evolutionary stable strategy and tautology, that seems to be able to do lots and lots of things in this world. And the thing is, that's not really much of a thing, isn't it? That's all for chapter 5. Now let's go on for chapter 6. Genesmanship. DNA has lots of effects, and it's mainly known for its multiple effects. There's like the green beard altruism, where if you have a green beard, you're more likely to help other people who also have green beards. And this is a pretty big effect, and it could even copy into your next generation's genes. And well, this seems to be calculating lots of things, and there's one more thing here too. The individual seems to be having kin selection, and sometimes parent altruism seems to work out too. Kin selection, however, that's kind of a bad thing, and sometimes if you shriek as loud as you can, it becomes the new norm if everyone else is shrieking as loud as you can. Then if you just shriek less louder, then you have the potential of getting less food, which means you will actually die. In chapter 7, childbearing and child caring and specialized population regulation, they've actually all been going on throughout these places, and it's kind of increasing their numbers throughout the world. There's even a theory of stopping at 2 that could easily change into stop at 30, and to, well, territorially destroy stuff, and to be able to actually just knock stuff off. the dominance of these hierarchies and to refuse them sought these natural selection and to be able to become one of the new norms. And the thing is, family planning isn't a very tough business. Do you think families should have favorites or not? If they have favorites, then they would probably spend more resources on that child than another child, so that would probably be just plain rude. Like that. And one thing to actually talk about right now is that there's just also a part of this book where there's really not much to mention here, but the thing is, the selfish gene concept seems to be talking about that selfish genes are just selfish themselves. We have some genes that actually go parasitic, where it's a actual selfish gene which goes on so that to be able to live and copy itself into the next generation, but at the expense of others. This is why we have a policing gene, and this is also known as the concept of the Parliament of Genes theory. Think of a whole parliament of people thinking of each with their own little different ideas. However, if there's just one gene that has a lots and lots of mutations, however, the sheer number of people who don't like that gene can equally vanquish that gene, because it's like a 10 1 million kinds of combinations here, and this is how they get eradicated and not gone to the whole wide world later on. Yeah, this is kind of nice. And the thing is, parental, sexual, and aggressive cooperation seem to sometimes to work best for survival. It seems best if both of us go ahead and get all the things that we want. However, sometimes we get those things that we want by the expense of others. And that's a very big importance to actually think about right now. And so, do you really like this book? Do you really think that this book is awesome? In my opinion, it is awesome. Memes, I mean, this is the origin of the memes, where it's actually like culture of the genes, evolution of the culture. Instead of meme, they use the meme, and this is a pretty interesting concept to really talk about here. Memes nowadays actually mean like you take a screenshot of something or a photo of something and then you write text on it to make it look funny. But however, the meme in its original sense was written by Richard Dawkins, talking about, well, the new kind of replicator that he thinks he had discovered. And that is all I'm going to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you guys for my next one. So that is the end of today's summary. See you guys soon. Nine out. Peace, 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 peace.